First, I wanted to introduce the Child Foundation personnel. Unfortunately, I'm not sure everybody's in here. Greg is. So I'm Ann+Gettys. I'm the president, the current president of the foundation. Greg Porter, you want to stand up? Greg's our chairman of the board. He's also the original founder of the foundation, and so he'll be around this week. Aaron Steinmetz, is he here? Okay, let me grab him. Heather Mading's here also. She's Luke's mom, but Luke's in the hospital at the University of Pittsburgh, so she'll be in and out today. I'll introduce you when she's here. They'll be on the Clipper tonight with Luke. He's getting a day or a night pass, so everybody will see him if you guys know him. And then Dr. Dieterding will be in and out. She's heading the research meeting right now, but she's our scientific chair and our founder. So if you see these people wandering the halls, feel free to grab them and ask about the foundation. We'd love to have everybody meet each other. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the year in review, and this information's all in your end of year packet, but I wanted to recognize several of the families that are here actually at the meeting that helped with the fundraising. John Schwam, I don't think he's here yet, but he's coming. His family raised over $56,000 this year, and we are actually, his family by themselves funded the 2013 research grant that I'll be talking about in a few minutes. The Swigert family is not going to be here, but they raised quite a bit of money in memory of their son, Caden, who passed away in October. And then we have the, excuse me if I massacre your name, Gujoli family. How do you pronounce that? Amber, is that right? Google? Okay. I can do that. So the Google family raised over $10,000. We have the Glasser family that also raised money. They did it through First Giving, and then they also have the lung-themed jewelry you see a lot of people wearing around here. The Carter family had a successful fundraiser. You guys all saw Lita Knobloch on the doctor show and various things. They're not going to be here this year, but they were fairly successful. And then the Dreckys are here. They raised quite a bit of money through the First Giving. And then we had separate events with Ann Hale and the McWater. So the people that are here that have done fantastic jobs fundraising this year, we just wanted to say thank you. Because this has been our highest fundraising year to date, or 2012 was our highest fundraising year to date, and a lot of it's due to the families that are here. So we also had 3 big research awards that were funded through the American Thoracic Society last year. Dr. I don't know how to say his name, Economo, he did the stem cell research. He finished up his 2nd year of funding, and that grant was actually paid for by Jean Schmidt and her crew from Chicago, and it was in their 2nd year. And then we put out the call for the knee-high families. They were raising money like crazy, and we offered a knee-high grant in conjunction with the Child Foundation UK, and we got 2 really good applications that really deserved funding, one from Dr. Young and one from Dr. Dieterding. So I put the call out, and the knee-high families came to action, and we were able to actually fund the second, partially fund the second, with the partnership with the Spanish group, Pequeños Pulmones. And so we were able to offer 2 knee-high grants, and that's all because of the effort of the knee-high families raising the money this year. So thank you very much for that. And then in 2013, this is the one that the Schwam family worked to fund. We're having a new grant that's actually in the process of being applied for. We've received the letters of intent. We had 6 really good letters of intent, and the full applications are going to be coming due and being reviewed in the next month. And that will be a grant application for translational research for rare genetic causes. So we're looking at how the genes express and cause different forms of child. So that'll be a really important grant that's coming through. The other thing that's really cool in research this year is our Child Research Network is meeting to review right now in the room across the hall all the data that's been entered by the local centers for the knee-high and their surfactant cases. They'll be branching out into other diagnoses soon. But they're actually, all the different centers have started to enter data from their patients, and they're reviewing all the data to make sure it matches an established criteria, and it's going to go into a national database that's now going to be used for applying for long-term funding for child. So there's a lot of really cool things going on in research right now, and Robin will talk a lot about what the research network's doing, so I don't want to step on her toes. But we're really excited about the growth in research in the past 2 years with the foundation. The other thing we got was the Rare Genomics has a genomic sequencing. They had a Rare 99X project where they were offering exome sequencing, free exome sequencing for patient organizations if they applied. So I put in an application for knee-high, surfactant, and 3 other unknown cases that we had, and we are awarded a knee-high grant. So they're actually going to be sequencing the familial knee-high that we've the families that have multiple kids with knee-high. We were awarded that, so that's free exome sequencing for 5 families that will then go to supplement Dr. Young's research. So that's a really cool grant too. So those were all things that we got last year and are starting in the first half of this year. We also met in January to do a strategic plan. We put together a 5-year strategic plan. This is all in your year in review, but I did want to talk about the future of the foundation and the things that we came together to talk about. So we felt like research has always been part of our mission, but education and family support had always been a high priority. We felt as a board and as a foundation that cures and research need to come first. So you're going to see a lot about funding and about research, and that's going to be the focus of next year, is building a foundation that can start generating money and support for research on a national level. We want to be able to be in competition with the big dogs like cystic fibrosis and looking at big funding, because that's what we need to find answers for cures. We've done a lot with the few years that we've had and with a little bit of funding, but we've got to have a lot more to make a difference for every kid in this room and every kid out there with child. We have a lot of diseases, a lot of unknowns still, and we don't have a single treatment or cure yet. And that's our big 5-year goal, is to find a cure for at least one form of child within 5 years. And that's an ambitious goal. We'd like to have more. But in order to do this, we have to have funding and we have to have research. So Dr. Dieterding is going to talk about their plans for that. But one of the things we got to take out of here is the energy and ways to figure out how we can get support for these kids. Because that's, in order for us to get there, we've got to get that research grant funded. So we wanted to just highlight the strategic plans. We need to expand our board of directors. And historically, our board of directors has been the working people for the foundation. We do everything because and it's not a typical board. Typically, boards are oversight and fundraising. We want to move towards an oversight board where we hire a director and a staff and get somebody in full time, because we're 100% volunteer right now. And we're at our limit into what we can achieve without hiring a director. So we need to get a board of directors in place that has development experience, that has nonprofit experience, fundraising experience, and has corporate and finance experience, so we can start really looking at nabbing the big bucks in the corporate world. So if you guys are interested in joining the board of directors, or you have friends or families or people that you know have experience in this realm, we're taking applications, and on Sunday at the roundtable, I'll have links where you can download them or send them to people. We would love to, we need about 7 more board members, and we're looking for people that can make those kind of connections for us, because that's the next step to get us to where we need to be, okay? And if you guys are interested in the board, you're welcome to apply too, because we will have family representation, but we're looking for specific skills also to help us in this growth period. We are putting in an ambitious goal of hiring a director and staff within the next year to 2 years. We've got to have that. We just cannot accomplish the things that we need to do and the fundraising that we need to do without having a director. So the board is making it a priority to raise money specifically for those people, but it's also going to require that we change a little bit of the way that we take donations, and I wanted to explain this a little bit. So right now, we allow people, like the Knee-High Fund and the Different Disease Fund, we allow people to raise money that goes 100% to their disease. The problem with that is we have a lot of programs like the patient registry that are universal to all the child disorders. And we have to help support the registry in terms of maintaining the registry. We have to help support data entry so our doctors can actually have people that can enter the data. And we also have to help collect information and get patients to the registry. That all costs money. It's research, but it's research that will benefit all of the patient diseases. We also have things like the conference. Our conference is our second largest expense. And you guys did a great job fundraising to help out, but this is our most expensive conference to date. Every dollar that we spend on conference has to pull out of things that we could be spending on research. So we're going to have to decrease the amount that we can earmark in a dollar. So what we're going to do with the new research, with the new website, which I'll talk about in a little bit, we're going to have to change our policy to where you can earmark some for every dollar. We'll do a 70-30 split, where 30% goes into the general fund to do the common research goals that we all need to do and maintain, which would pay for the doctors to come together to analyze the data, supported the registry, and other things that our doctors feel will be important for all the groups. Because what we're happening is we're getting a lot of money in individual pockets, but not enough to be able to make a difference across all the diseases. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about that? We'll put it more in writing, but I didn't want it to be a surprise to anybody that's here that we're changing that without talking about it, but we're going to have to do that. The other thing we're going to be looking at is ways to do fundraising drives to increase the standard of care for our kids, establishing the standards of care, and making sure that we can keep our research momentum. And we've started a scientific advisory board, which I'll show you the members in a little bit, but we're expanding that also. So if your doctors have expressed an interest in research in child, if you have a personal relationship in your doctors and they haven't joined our research network, or they're interested in being on the advisory board, we're taking applications for that. So if you want a copy of that, I'll be happy to give it to you, but we would like representation from lots of different doctors, and it's a way to get people engaged if they're not already in the research network. So that's coming up. And then we have some other relationships that I'll talk about, but we have a lot of really ambitious plans for the foundation. I'm really excited in the direction that we're going. I think we've grown a lot in the last 10 years, but I really think the next 2 to 3 years are going to be exponential growth. And I think this conference is a good example of that with the number of new faces that we have here. And we're really excited about where we're going. So the scientific advisory board so far is Dr. Dieterding, Dr. Young, and Dr. Hagood. We have a couple of outside members that have put in applications that we're reviewing. We want this advisory board to expand over the next year, so please tell your doctors about this, and if you have anybody that you would like to recommend, we'd love to have them. One of our important partnerships is with the American Thoracic Society. That's one of the governing bodies for all the physicians. And they've made our research grants possible. And I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the changes in the philosophy with the American Thoracic Society. We've had some really important people within our organization that are taking leadership positions in the American Thoracic Society. So Greg Porta is now the chair-elect for the American Thoracic Society Public Advisory Roundtable, so we call it ATS-PAR. This is a patient organization group where we have members from the patient groups that can actually go and advocate through American Thoracic Society for our interests. And they do a lot of national advocacy. And it also gives us a voice at the American Thoracic Society. So it's a really important position for Greg, and it's going to be big for the foundation. Dr. Dieterding has also been elected the chair of the Pediatric Assembly. That's big. So all the pediatric pulmonologists, the American Thoracic Society, they have their own assembly. They have their own group. Robin's the chair that's starting this year. We also have the president-elect, which is coming in next year, is a pediatric pulmonologist. So what that means for child is right now, in the past, American Thoracic Society has been looking at the big adult diseases. But the focus of research and the focus of efforts in the American Thoracic Society is now shifting towards the pediatric realm. And why this is important is it's going to give us a voice and an avenue to make inroads to get standards of care, educating doctors, getting a lot of educational events with the physicians. So this is a really important time for our doctors to raise awareness for child on a national scale. So this is a really cool thing and has a lot of potential for growth for the foundation. I'm sorry I'm kind of rushing through, but I want to make sure I don't go over on time. Does anybody have any questions about this? Okay, so this is something I'm excited about. We had a website revamp a couple of years ago, but it's very difficult to modify and add a lot of media. And so we're actually launching a new website next month. It's not quite ready for launch, but it's going to be a lot more interactive for families, and we want to feature your kids. So you'll see it's going to be scrolling through. Some of you guys have your kids already on here and haven't seen it yet, but this is going to be our front page. I wanted to show you a few things because I think this is going to be really cool. We've got types of child pages, and I haven't populated very many of them because I have been working, but what we're going to be doing is on each page, it'll have an about on all the diseases. Website's kind of slow, but on each page, it'll come up in a second. There is going to be a photo book where we can feature the kids with the diseases. This just has generic photos right now of kids that not necessarily for this disease, but so you can see what's going on. It'll have their first name, and it'll be faces of this diagnosis. So people can put a face to the disease, and if you have active links to blogs and things like that that you don't mind being on a public forum, we want to make this as personal as possible so the people that are brand new to the diseases and people from outside can come in and learn about child. And we want it to be a way for the public to put a face to child, and then we'll have a lot of disease-specific information and links for every disease. So we need your pictures and stories, bad, because I want to have our kids on there. We have an amazing group of kids, and I think our stories are very powerful. So if you are willing to have your child's image on a website, and nothing personal except a first name and a diagnosis, we would love to have that for the site. There's a few other things that will be important for the families, and again, I haven't had a whole lot of time to populate this, but there'll be news and events. We're going to be launching some new programs. One of them is going to be a Disease of the Month program, where we're going to have webinars that are going to be online webinars with the experts that are disease specific. And so this news and events will have those dates, and you'll be able to come on and sign up to watch your webinars. And so this will be an important portal for you guys to use. We'll also have links for how to help in the committees and things like that. So this is going to be, I think, a really cool tool, and should be out July 1st. Okay? Any questions about the site? You guys like it? Okay, I like it. But it's been a long time coming. So.
Question, just in regards to news and events, is that going to be the category that's going to push out the most up-to-date information? I mean, one of the challenges we've had as a family is that we signed up and never got any information. So I don't know what's current.
I didn't want to be. The last site was donated to us. It was a great upgrade from the previous site. But the problem with it was we couldn't get it worked on. It was set up by a bunch of interns, and we had problems where the email system broke down, and I emailed for 2 years and couldn't get it fixed. And so I wasn't getting notified when people are signing up, and the database that we have for people who are signing up has thousands of spam entries. So that's another reason for us to do this, is that we will be able to have email blasts and information and a lot of public social media posts directly through the site. So you should start, when this is launched, we will have the capacity to get in touch with you guys a lot more. And I apologize if you're one of the ones, I know you've emailed me about that, that couldn't get the notices. It's just that was broken on the site, and we had no way of fixing it. I didn't have the passwords to have somebody work on it. So that's one of the reasons why we're vacating it. It was a volunteer thing. We didn't pay for it. It was a great stepping stone, but it was a tool we couldn't use, and that it was impossible to also update the information. So you'll notice the news on there is like 8 months old. It's because it was very difficult to put anything up there. This is a WordPress platform, so we're hoping in some of the committees that you guys will actually get active and can post stuff and help us populate it, because it's a really simple platform to use, but we'll be able to do a lot more media and communication with you guys. We'd like to.
We've heard is like, oh, I didn't realize there was another child family in Toronto.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're working on with the programmer, and it takes a little bit of savvy to do, is we want when people sign up, we want to have a Google map where it automatically puts a colored pin with that family, and then you can click on it and decide if your information is going to be public or private when you sign up. So hopefully that's going to probably be a few months because it's pretty, the database has to be set up first. But that's our hope, is to have a worldwide map where you can click on it, it'll show the centers, and it'll also show the families that are close. Oh, is that picking me up too?
No, it's, if we can use this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. She's taping, so if we have questions, we have a mobile mic, and so yeah, it's coming. It's in the plans. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I'm excited about this, but it is going to take a couple more weeks to get it ready. So please, on Sunday at the roundtable, I'll have information on who to send stuff to and the links, and we would love to get as many stories as we can get in soon, so when we launch it, we'll have lots of information on there. All right, so a few things I wanted to mention to you guys. The American Thoracic Society is having an ILD week where they sponsor a speaker to do a What is Child webinar, and Lisa Young will be the one presenting. We don't have the specific date of her presentation yet. As soon as we do, we'll send out we'll post it on the new website and send out information to everybody. But be looking for that, because that's a nice webinar for us to attend. We've got the Hike for Lung Health. Is Aaron in here now? Where did he go? Okay. Well, we'll have Aaron talk about the Hike for Lung Health later. That's scheduled, and that's going to be in Chicago, but they also have the online fundraising for us. It's been something we've participated in every year. And then this is what I wanted to talk about. So starting in September, we're going to start a Disease of the Month program, okay? And what we're planning is having like a NEHI month, a surfactant month, bronchiolitis obliterans, and we're going to start actually with bronchiolitis obliterans for those of you guys that are in the audience. And we'll start the first week of every month. We'll have a webinar with one of the experts that'll be what is new in your disease and talk about how it's diagnosed, the information about the disease. That will be taped and saved for the website, so we'll have ongoing educational pieces, but it'll also be an opportunity for people that aren't here, or for people even that are, to get more disease-specific time with the doctors. So we will need help coordinating that, setting the months, and because right now it's still kind of in theory, getting the doctors assigned and everything, but we've got the first 4 months scheduled out, but we want to make sure that we have representation from the families on the committee that's planning that, so we make those months represent what you guys would like your disease represented at. I'm hoping it'll give each disease group an opportunity to come together and meet each other, but also so we can get you more disease-specific information online. So again, that will be a committee we're putting together. Would love to have any of your guys' input that would like to set that up. And for the BO families, if you guys want to start, meet with me at sometime this weekend. Alicia Casey's going to do your talk the first, and you'll be the first month. So we've got to start getting that organized. But I think that'll be a really cool addition. Is there any questions about that? Okay. So ways to get involved. So we're going to have committees set up. The big ones that we're going to have is conference planning. So for those of you guys that are in the Denver area, that's where next year's conference is going to be, and we've got to hit the ground running to plan that. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be our 10th anniversary conference, and also Dr. Fan is retiring. Shh, don't tell him we're going to do something for him. He's across the hall, or he won't show. But that is going to be a really big conference for us. We're also trying to partner with a local camp for the kids, so we can get them down at a lower altitude but have special programming. So that's going to be a really big conference. We're going to need a lot of help to put that together. And if you're not in the Denver area and you're just interested, love to have you. We're going to have outreach. That's going to be fundraising and the website development and the outreach days. Again, we'll have information on this at the roundtables. Love to talk to you about them. We'll have finance. Aaron is been as our treasurer. He's been working really hard on fundraising. But he recently he was a stay-at-home dad for a couple of years. He just got a job. So great for Aaron, but I'm crying because he needs help. So we need people that are willing to help with the fundraising planning, and anybody that has a financial background that can help plan fundraising and management of the donations that are coming in. want your stories. I'm going to hit you with that every week. I mean, every time I see you guys, I need pictures and stories. And that's one of the reasons why we have the media releases for you guys to sign. If you haven't signed them, please sign them, because we are going to be using images and videotape from this conference to put on the new site. So we need to have media releases for that. We need fundraising support. Right now, our families have been amazing. But you're going to hear a lot this weekend about research plans for the Research Foundation or for the Research Network. We've got to have support to get the funding that they need to get going. So we're looking to do corporate fundraising and to expand our fundraising platforms. So if you have any experience in that or know people that do fundraising or are interested in doing fundraising, we need your help, because this is a big push for us. We also need the board expanded. So if you know anybody that has board experience or you think would be great for the board, or you personally want to apply, we need you. Okay, so that's the end of my spiel. Does anybody have any questions? I've thrown a lot at you very quickly. Yeah.
How do you want us to get you stories and pictures? How do you want us to get it?
Well, I'm going to have to set up a Dropbox that will take the bigger files, and then I'll do that before Sunday, and I'll have a flyer out at the Sunday roundtable for you guys to pick up with those links. Okay, any other questions?